So we've just installed the frets on the guitar, and I've told you the next step is to begin making the bridge. Now, this is something you really should put a lot of thought into. Up until this point, you've really put a lot of thought and work and energy into thicknessing your top to the correct spec, bracing the top, shaving the top, and now you're going to come in and glue a large chunk of wood, a brick, in other words, to the top of that guitar. That could be a real tone killer, a tone inhibitor. So you really ought to think about what you're doing when it comes time to design your bridge. Some things to consider are, is the top stiff or loose? What species of wood is it? How large is the guitar size? Is it a dread size? Is it an OM size? Is it a parlor size? All of these things will determine what kind of bridge design you're going to have. Basically, for my guitars, I like to come in somewhere between 8 millimeters and 10 millimeters tall. Now, up until this point, I've been talking about the neck angle and the fretboard thickness and putting that straight edge across it and what gap you're going to have at the bridge. For this guitar, we've been shooting for that 10 millimeter gap. Now, that's our magic number, 10 millimeters between the top of the soundboard and the bottom of the straight edge. I like for my bridge to come in at just under that, let's say 9.5 to 9 3/4 millimeters tall. Once I put my fret wire in, my gap increases to approximately 11 millimeters. So I'm about 1 millimeter to 1.5 millimeters above that bridge when I put a straight edge on there. Something else I like to do with my bridges, there's a lot of different bridge designs out there, but basically what you see is a rectangle. There are some modern day funky type designs out there. I don't buy into all that. Now, there's some great sounding guitars. What I like to see basically is a rectangle shape. And the reason for that is when you glue that mass to the top of the guitar and you got the string pulling on it, you got the bridge pins in there, I like it to rock back and forth. I want it to pump up and down. My opinion, this is just strictly my opinion, you can take it or leave it, is if you start putting different type shapes on there that could inhibit that rocking back and forth. For example, if you had a large oval or some other type of shape on there, in my opinion, it could inhibit that rocking back and forth and therefore the transmission of the vibrations. So basically what I'm going to make for this video and what I make for all of my guitars for that point is a rectangle. Now, if you follow the plans, that's a great design. I recommend that you follow those plans. But you've got to dial in the correct height, depending on your neck angle and the thickness of your fretboard. My friend Kent Everett has a great video on acoustic guitar voicing. And not only does he talk about the top, the soundboard, but he talks about all aspects of the guitar. One of the main aspects he talks about is the bridge. He calls it the forgotten brace. And it really is the forgotten brace. After you've done everything to your guitar, you come in and glue that mass to it, and it can change the whole outlook, the whole concept of what you've been doing to this point. If you want to go above and beyond, I highly recommend studying Kent Everett's DVD, Voicing the Acoustic Guitar. It's a 2 DVD set, and you'll get a wealth of information out of it. So I highly recommend doing that. So let's go back to the guitar. We're going to put the straight edge on it one more time. We're going to look at the gap between the soundboard and the bottom of the ruler, and we're going to determine exactly what thickness that bridge blank needs to be.